Why is February 19th, 2024 a date of significance to you?
Being on the side of the road one day, I yelled at my girlfriend and my friend. I'm like, pay the F attention. This is life or death right here. It's raining right now. We cannot get hit by a car. Put that red jumper cable in my car. And then my friend's like, bark, bark, bark. He pulls my left arm, try to run, and then it's just too late. If it wasn't for Ben Gotcha, literally, I would not be here right now.
Welcome to the Curious Corner, where we unravel the stories behind our guests through the lens of curiosity. In this episode, I'm joined by Riley Barker, a creator who works in social media and marketing for Death Row Games. Riley, thank you for agreeing to come on today. How are you doing?
Doing good, brother. How are you?
I'm doing great. For those hearing about you for the first time, who is Riley Barker?
I am a 25-year-old creator from California, born and raised in Fresno, California. I try not to say I'm one thing or the other. I think I am many different things. I've been the social media manager, marketer, photographer, videographer, just branding dude. I would just say a creative, a dreamer.
I like that. I know you're a very adaptable person, and yeah, you don't want to put labels on yourself, and therefore you're just creative and a dreamer. So let's go with that. What were you like as a kid growing up?
I would say music. Music was my everything growing up. It's how I was very shy, soft-spoken growing up. And so it was a way for me to I don't know,
Express yourself?
communicate with a different side of myself. My mom, I was super sheltered at my mom's house. My dad's house, I got to cuss a little bit, got to be myself a little bit more. And so I had this iPod Nano at my dad's. I took this Nano everywhere. I had Tupac, Snoop Dogg, all these rock, country, anything you can think of. And it literally, it was the only way I would get trouble at my mom's house when she would find a song that had cuss words on it. And I would say music though, for sure. Cause it guided me to always express myself, and it made me comfortable expressing myself. I was supposed to be a professional baseball player. That's just my family. My uncle played in the major leagues. I was training to play in the major leagues by however much I was training back in the day. And for me, just to my whole childhood was either soccer or baseball. And soccer was my natural talent. Baseball was what I had to grind and really get better at. And it made me realize I wasn't real with myself back then. I was trying to do this baseball thing for my dad, for my family, not for me. Maybe I wasn't the fucking best at it because I was used to getting 8th place trophies and shit. My dad was telling me, oh, you're so fucking good. In reality, I was fucking shit. And I should have been told I was shit, even though I wasn't. I just very hard on myself. So I was like, okay, I got to do something different, something I don't know. I got to do, I got to do something different. So then I tried out for the golf team, and then somehow made the golf team. I was like, if I'm going to be on the JV team, I might as well be on golf. I'll get to miss school longer. And because that's how I was back in the day. I did not like school. So any way I can get out of school, I was trying to do it.
So you hated school. Your parents wanted you to pursue a career in sports. Done that for a bit, and then at some point you were picked up that iPod Nano, was listening to music all the time, and then obviously started making music videos, etc., etc. So were you always deep down? Were you always creative? But I guess for a while you had to pursue the sports thing because that's what your parents wanted you to do, and then at some point
I
you
would
were
say honestly, I wouldn't say I was always creative, because there was definitely times I could have been creative. I definitely it was all of I think that's where I was going with the music. It was all of my experience with music growing up, and just before any type of sports event, I'm just listening to music, getting ready for it. And I would say like the times when I was most hard on myself and like the time for like how I would picture it, like when imagine like you're in a car when you're singing the song and imagine you're in the car when you're not singing the song, right?
Mhm.
So like it's like I feel like I had a time in my life to where I was just looking out the window, to where I wasn't singing, I wasn't like outgoing. Like my stepdad would ask me when I was a kid, like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And I was like, "I'm just thinking." I would be like, "I'm just thinking." And like it was like I feel like I was an observer before I had to be the creator. So I feel like me taking notes, me observing, me trying to figure out what kind of creator I wanted to be. And I don't really think I started to be a creator until after I understood what Gary was talking about. And so like I think I would say like I wasn't really creative until like more so Dutch Bros coffee shop time during that timeline. Like we were talking earlier, like that's when I was really just connecting with a lot of just different people and I had a clear direction like, oh, I'm making music right now. I'm making coffee right now and I can grow my music by these coffee lovers. Every person that came up to the window, I was like Apple Music or Spotify. And then like, I was like vanilla bark, vanilla bark, vanilla bark, like getting them to see my stuff and just man, for me it's always been about like period. So whenever I think something's like forever, it always comes like some like that's why I just don't make any plans anymore or don't try to think so long ahead because like I know like whatever I'm gonna try to do is gonna get in the way of like the beauty. And I think like this the biggest thing in the world is not being real with yourself. So like me me being vulnerable enough to like do music and put myself out there, my problems out there was a huge stepping stone for me because I realized that your like my weakness that is really a strength, like just me being like having the humiliation to like put myself out there, like really it was like it saved my life. And creating all this music in this room back in the day and like I was so broke. I had like peanut M&Ms in the freezer. I was like living off of peanut M&Ms. I was like just going from the studio to the freezer to the deck to the freezer to the studio and just like going from the studio to the deck and crying and stuff and just making these songs that were like taking me outside of my body, like allowing me to talk about my previous problems and put them on a song and then like generally help other people. The goal is always to bring one smile to like someone's face. And my dad always told me like if you decide to go this music route, like just know that every song that you make is gonna live forever. And so that was always in my head back then. Like I knew that if whenever my time was up, like these were gonna be the things that was left of me if I was only doing that at that time.
You mentioned, younger up, you were very much like an observer, kind of like there's this missing piece and never really setting this 5-year plan and always kind of just being adaptable and evolving in the moment because you never know what's next. And yeah, like that is life. Like we never know what's right around the corner. And I know last year was again like one of those moments where something came left field and kind of hit you literally and changed your plans. So why is the February 19th, 2024 the date of significance to you?
Man, it's the rebirth. It was the day I died and came fucking back, bro. Like I'd never felt or wish any pain like that on anyone and my life was going so good before. So good. Like the best it could possibly get as a film photographer. Like it just couldn't get any better than that. And I literally like was going too fast. The same thing like I was telling myself was the same thing Gary had told me the last time we were talking. Like I told him about my whole situation and everything that was going on. First, he was like, "You're in control," he told me. And then he told me to slow down too. Like I was always been one to go too fast. So like anyone out there watching this right now, whether it's in 5 years, 10 years, like 20 years, like this, like if you're ever at a point in life where like you're really happy and everything's going really great, like don't forget to tell your people, your mom, dad, friends, you love them. And one thing I didn't listen to my parents in the past leading up to this, and it led me to almost like dying, was to slow down. And there's beauty in slowing down. Like there's so much beauty that I find comes into my life when I slow like everything down. And like I think that that day was a reminder of how I made my mom feel, how I, even though it wasn't my fault, I made my dad feel like I wasn't like the best that I could be. Like I should have been preparing myself a lot better, preparing my car for what anything that could happen, and just not kind of downplaying every scenario and just being like, it's easy to be optimistic with positivity, but you have to be like optimistic too with what could go wrong. And I never wanted to think about that. And it led me to being on the side of the road one day with like no one to call but my friend Ben. My friend Ben
It wasn't
literally,
me. It was someone else.
yeah. So someone else, yeah, because we're like, this is crazy. This podcast, two different sides of the world, and that's it's wild. But like Ben came in the middle of the night and just put that red jumper cable in my car. I put it on my car, like my girl is my girlfriend's behind me in my friend's car, and she's getting the umbrella from the passenger seat on the passenger rear back door behind the passenger seat. She's grabbing the umbrella, and then like 2 minutes before that, 3 minutes before that, we're like putting the gas in, and I like yelled at my girlfriend and my friend. I'm like, pay the f attention. Like this is life or death right here. Like we have like we're like the roads like right here. Like we have even around the country, and there's just farmland around us. Like it's raining right now, and if they hit a puddle, like this shit can, like I literally said this shit, like we cannot get hit by a car. And 2, 3 minutes later, I'm like putting it on the car, and then my friend's like, bark, 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 Riley, Riley, Riley. So he pulls my left arm, and I take like 2 steps, and then like I try to run, and then it's just too late. My leg gets hit right there. Like I have no more feeling in my right leg anymore. So like you can like kick me, pour hot water on it. Like there's no nerve feeling. Like I can still flex and move it and walk, but when it comes to like nerve sensation, I don't have any feeling in it. And it just, whenever I was putting that rent on the car, it just boom, pulls me 2 steps and he hits me. And then I just, next thing I know, I'm like calling for my girlfriend's name. Like I stand up, calling for Jamie's name, and they're like screaming at my name. Like they're screaming my name. And it just was like, fuck, am I dying? I was like, shit, like I'm checking if they're okay. And they're crying, looking at me like if I'm okay. So then that next like the next 8 hours was like chaos. Just like saying goodbye to my mom, my dad. Like shit was not ever knowing if I'm gonna walk the same again. Like them telling me it's gonna be compartment syndrome surgery where they slice your leg open, let it hang open for 2 days. And once everything drains, they put it back up, and then like you'll never walk the same again. You're gonna have a limp. So I was really gonna be this pimp with a limp, bro.
So
But
your friend literally, by your friend pulling you, did he save your life?
I'm joking. Yeah, saved my life.
That's
Ben
crazy.
Ben saved my life. If it wasn't for Ben, His name's Ben Gotcha. So if it wasn't for Ben Gotcha, literally, I would not be here right now. Like, Ben, honestly, was the only guy they answered.
What do you remember about the weeks that followed your car incident? Like, you say you're laying in bed, doctors say you don't think you're ever gonna walk again. Like, it must have been like a very, very tough time and just like questioning everything.
There was definitely, because I want to help as much people as I can. And so, like, I felt like giving up, bro.
You felt helpless. Like, you're the one helping people, and in that moment, you felt helpless.
Yeah. I feel like there was no, like, I feel like there was no, like, even if it did get better, like, what am I going to do? Like, I just was super negative for a little bit. And then I remember I was watching like Gary at like a doctor's visit, and he was like saying like nobody feels fucking sorry for you. It's like if you want something, you gotta like just get the fuck up. He's like get the fuck up. Like so I just started getting up. Like I just started like literally like getting up and like remembering how I felt at that moment and just like seeing my little siblings and seeing everyone count me out. All of my old childhood friends, like there were so many people counting me out, like, and it was just like, damn, like I'm healing. Like
How long? So, like, how long was it until you were able to walk again?
I was on crutches, man. I didn't walk probably about 5 months. 5 months. It took me like 3, 4 months on crutches.
Okay, and like, how long are you like stuck in bed for? Because that's like the worst thing, right? When you
Yeah,
can't
so I
even
was
like,
stuck in bed for literally. I was stuck in bed 2.5, 3 months.
got it. Okay. So, what do you feel like were the positives to come out of the the car accident experience?
No, yeah, no, yeah. That's a great question, bro. That's like literally like what I got out of it for real was one being real with myself, and just like me seeing myself in my worst was the biggest blessing I could have ever gotten in life because I'll make sure I'll never be like that, like ever again. And it's like, I feel like it's my duty and my job to make sure people feel like heard, like special and like they're not alone. Like, I want to be able to get to the point one day where I'm sharing my story so well and maybe it can maneuver their journey like one little step and like people can take like a little sprinkle from me and like throw away the 99 things I said, but the one thing might have stuck with them. And so like honestly, it led me to like me getting hit by that car. Like I was never this streamer. Like I was never this like V Friends streamer or anything that I got into recently. And like it it really helped me like facing death, near death, like help me be who I really am. Like live who I really am. Like every day, like really be Riley Barker. Like and before that, I was like vanilla. Like there's off white now, but like I'm always Riley Barker, but it's like before I was living a little bit too much in vanilla. I was living
Got it.
like you know what I'm saying? Like I was still myself and I was trying to be authentic, but obviously growing up, you have ego and pride that gets in the way. And so the second I um really like this accident helped me put like my truth on the table and uh understand that life's short, you know what I'm saying? That
100%.
there's no like this be your authentic self so you people can find you.
You now currently work um, for Snoop and Champ doing social media and marketing. I know you met Snoop Dogg's son, Champ, leaving VCon 2 because you were carrying your camera, which led you to then doing a photo shoot outside the entrance with him, which I actually think is kind of fun. Just because, like, I feel like there's something there of just like if you're some kind of creator, just always having your tools quote unquote on you. So I love that it kind of like led to an opportunity which you didn't like. If you hadn't had your camera, that opportunity would have never happened, right?
Yeah.
So like, there's so I'm trying to like come up with a thought, but I feel like there's something fun within that. But like, how do you just personally reflect on that memory?
Man, we were outside drinking a Starry. My friend sipping a Starry outside, and I decided I was like, literally, it's like just the like intuition so fucking real, Ben. I can't even describe it. Like if I'm just trying to be as real as I can be, like it was as simple as like me always, like you said, having a tool or something in my hand. Like so, I always have my camera in my hand, no matter what, no matter where I go. I always keep my camera in my hand, and I so happened to walk. I told my crew, I was like, "Yo, we're walking in right now." Somebody was like, "No, let's stay out here." I was like, "No, let's walk in right now and like learn. Like we're in Indianapolis to like learn." So then he was like saying something in my ear, and I'm just ignoring him, and we're walking in, and he was walking out from his keynote because he had just spoke. I wasn't even inside, or like I didn't even know it was Snoop Dogg's son either. I didn't know this was Champ. I didn't know his name was Cordell. I didn't know his last name was Broadus. I didn't know anything about this dude at all. Just walked in with my crew, he stopped to me and he was like, "Yo, like, why do you have your camera? Like, you have your crew right here." Told my girl she has pretty hair. She has like really curly hair, my girlfriend. And so we were just talking about like different designers and stuff like that. And just talking about like what I do. Like, it's kind of like we're talking right now, like telling them how I did free photo shoots, all this stuff. And I was like, "I actually have a spot out there. You want to do like a quick shoot?" And I was like, "Let's do it. Let's do it." And then as we're doing the shoot, we get people getting autographs, coming to take pictures. And I'm like, "Who is this guy?" And then in the midst of it all, like people are coming up, and I'm like talking to this dude while he's like signing shit, taking pictures, and he's still like eye contact is still on me. And that's like me. That's how like me and him, like we were just like we connected from the day we first met. And he was like, "I like you." And he's like, then so we exchanged numbers. He followed me on Instagram, and I went back inside and I was like, "See Broadus." Broadus is I think Snoop Dogg's last name, and I did my research and I went to the bathroom and I cried. And it was crazy because like
That's so full circle.
I sacrificed a lot to go to that conference. Like Snoop and Champ, they're my family for life. And like I said, I'm always one phone call away and I'll do anything in my power. But it's like I respect them so much because they're at that point in caliber in their life to where they can have businesses, and then they allow me to still live my dream and still chase my dream and trying to make that a reality. And when nobody else believed in me, like when nobody was giving me a chance,
What do you feel like you've learned by being in the same room as Snoop Dogg and Champ?
that everyone around everyone is always better than everyone. There's not one person that's worse than anyone else. So like one thing I learned was like they always keep the best of the best around them. And that made me realize I needed to change my circle up. And
Got
I
it.
learned that we all come from the same place. I learned that we're all human. Growing up, idolizing him to then being shoulder to shoulder, you know what I'm saying? And man, like I can't even describe it to you, bro. Like I can't even describe it to you, just the calmness in the room. Like just the calmness of how like and just it's so motivating, like literally like hearing in my like mind like California girls, like hear my mom sing it to like gin and juice, like, "Ain't nothing but a G thing, baby," to, like, literally being in the same studio as him and hearing him freestyle was just like, "Oh, shit, like, this life, anything's possible," and just talking to Papa Snoop like I was talking about earlier, like, knowing that, like, Snoop worked at McDonald's, you know what I'm saying? And so it made me realize, like, I'm in a very good position right now.
100%.
And Papa Snoop would always tell me how lucky I am to be in that room, and, he was that reminder, like, "Hey, if you're like," and we wouldn't even be talking to be like, we didn't be talking about it, but he'd be like, "If you're in this room right now, it says something about you." He's like, he would just say it randomly. He's like, "If you're in this room right now, it would say something about you." And nothing I got from Snoop or Champ means more than our relationship. Like, so, like, just me being able to, have a friend, like somebody like Cordell that believed in me when, like, I was just discouraged in life and just ready to give up, ready to put, like, just for him just to believe in me and pick me up and was like, "Yo, like, you like, keep going, keep doing what you're doing, trusting in me, believing in me, moving me out to LA." Like, man,
Yeah, that's wild.
it's just, I'm very humbled and, um, very grateful, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just wanna be able to do my due diligence and continue to better myself so that when I'm 40, 50, I can then take that spot of maybe, the cameraman, like, I have nothing but I have so much faith and hope in Champ to where I just admire him being the son of Snoop Dogg and not making music, you know what I'm saying? And just being this businessman.
You obviously mentioned about that period of where you were or you felt alone, but in the past when you felt stuck and maybe you weren't seeing the results you wanted, what was it that changed you?
And, like, what got me out of that headspace, right?
Yes,
I would say,
that cycle.
self-control, self-discipline, like, just first when I will first wake up in the morning, like, just keep my focus on, like, bettering myself, like, just staying off my phone for the first 15 minutes and taking that cold shower, like, this is my routine, that, like, got me out of that, like, little headspace, and, like, I would just, like, this being super, super self-disciplined to where I'm doing the things that I don't wanna do, and it's like whenever I'm doing the things that I shouldn't be doing or I don't wanna be doing, I end up becoming alone and sad because of the thoughts of, like, letting my mom or friends or family down, when in reality, I just, like, get back to my routine, get back to my schedule, but, like, not being a robot. Like, I don't wanna be unconsciously competent. Like, I wanna be consciously competent. Um, so I think just moving, eating at a certain it goes from, like, eating at a certain time to, like, going to bed to, like, getting your sleep, and, like, when I'm not doing the things I'm supposed to be doing, I just ask myself, "Okay, Riley, like, did you go on your phone when you first woke up?" Like, if you weren't on your phone when you first woke up, it's fine, but if you open the app, then you let 100 people in your room, and nobody should be in your room when you first wake up. So it's like, that's a big one for me. It's like, normally, like, and it's as simple as that. Like, if I don't check my phone when I first wake up, like, my anxiety levels are low and I can achieve anything. And, like, yesterday, I just was woken up to all these messages. It was Monday and stuff. And then they're like, you got to get this shit done by 2:33. And then I was like, damn, I got my exam that I got to do too. So I had to, like, finish my exam. And so it was just like, I wanted this to be like, I wanted to give you my best. I wanted to bring my best. with how busy like I've been. I wanted to be able to be like ready for it. And um just me being me being Riley and me loving myself unconditionally
Yeah.
is how I got out of that. And loving myself meaning by like putting gold in my body, like drinking enough water,
How do you personally resonate with the following quote? It's you versus you.
looking in the mirror every day, waking up and like loving that person that you see in the mirror and being able to tell yourself you're sexy, you're capable, also resembles very closely to you versus you, super close to me. It's like golfing. Golfing is not a team versus team sport. It's player versus player and it's a player versus his own mind. So it's like me versus whenever I'm saying you versus you, I'm like talking to myself third party because that's like my Twitter, my ex is like me talking to myself, like how I would want to be talked to. And but like the you versus you, definitely it's like you're not competing with anybody else, but you like we're in this game of life, like of course with everyone around us. But like we said earlier, like everyone's going through shit. No one gives a fuck about me. At the end of the day, no one gives a fuck about me. No one gives a fuck I worked with Snoop. No one gives a like no one like obviously there's people that's gonna care. There's some people that's gonna be curious. But no one at the end of the day, we're all going through these things in life to where like we're just so busy worry all the time.
Everyone's got
And
baggage.
yeah, and so like whenever I hear you versus you, it's just like, man, it reminds me like, shut up, Riley. Like literally shut up. Like whatever you're going through right now, you're just complaining right now. Like just keep doing the best that you can do. Keep trying. Like I'm gonna keep trying my best, and that's good enough. You know what I'm saying? And just constantly betting yourself from yesterday. Like, yo, how could I better myself from yesterday? Like, what could I do today that I didn't do yesterday? And I think about that a lot. I think that if people just get out of their own way, if they realize that they're just competing with themselves and like we're not competing against each other, like there's enough space, like Jesus all the time, for all of us to coexist in this space. And it's like there's just so much insecurity out there. You know what I'm saying? And I think the insecurities with oneself are putting people like, well, I want this, they have that, or it's like you know when someone's not being authentic, you know what I'm saying? And like it's this insecurities is the number one thing I think that gets in the way of a lot of things because like they care about what people think, you know what I'm saying? They want to be accepted by certain people or say they didn't get accepted by certain people, then they're like they're going to try to get that like they're going to try to be accepted now by them. And in reality it's like if they don't if someone doesn't like the way I talk or like me, then I know they're not my people. And I shouldn't like if someone doesn't like me because of like say I'm being obviously rude, then I got to change. But like if someone doesn't like me for being my authentic self, and like I'm changing who I am to be accepted by them, like that's like it's you versus them. And when it becomes to you versus them, then it's very just it's not healthy at all. You know what I'm saying? Like that keep this the healthiest friendships around you and just like it always has to just be you versus you. And like your friends have to know like you're not competing with them. Like you're competing with like all my friends know like that I'm competing with myself. And while they're trying to compete with me, like I'm competing with myself. And I hope one day like that they realize that they're special. They have what it takes. Every single one of us does. And the one thing that I stopped doing back in the day to lead me to this point now, talking here with you today and being able to have some cool stories to share is just simply like fucking just not making any more excuses. You know what I'm saying? I used to make so much excuses of why I didn't get this or why I didn't get that. And being able to share my truth now is probably my biggest um superpower. You know what I'm saying? Is this me
You're a
being
storyteller.
able to share the authentic truth to the authentic truth, you know, like this that to that standpoint. And instead of trying to get accepted anymore, you know what I'm saying? Like I want to be accepted for who I am. And if they don't like me for who I'm really am, then it wasn't meant to be. You know what I'm saying? And I just want to keep being that inspiration and that light to people who's been through worse shit than I have, and let them be that like breath of fresh air. Like Riley Bart got hit, like all this happened to him, and he's like we're gonna be good. You know what I'm saying? Like if I can make them feel better any way, shape, or form, then I know I'm doing my job as a human. And if I continue to have the mindset that it's just me versus me, then I'm going to be helping as most people as I can out, because I'm not thinking of it like greed or envy. And there's a lot around that around me right now. There's a lot of envy and there's a lot of greed and jealousy around me right now. And and I notice it. And I think the best way to maneuver around it is making that tweet out like you versus you. You know what I'm saying? Like making those type of positive things that you would want to be told, or maybe some things that you told yourself back in the day that, and it might be old to you, but it might be new to the world. So if you like keep like, I don't know, like whenever I'm doing this, I'm just like, I'm always just giving myself the advice I would want to hear. And then it guides me through like my creative journey. And I'm in this shit like for the love of the game. Like forget the points. Like fuck the points. Like I'm playing for the love of the game. And I think that's what's gonna like make people like us stick out, because we're playing for the love of the game,
100%.
not the points. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Final question.
Yes, sir.
If you had to take one final photograph that represented your life, what story would you tell? What would be the hidden message?
Great question, bro. Great question. I'll get all of my family members that I remember from when I was a kid to now in a group picture, and I wouldn't be in it. I'd be the photographer. And I think the saying would be like, don't blink. Like life can go by so fast. You know what I'm saying? And uh, we lose people, whether by death or by choice. You know what I'm saying? And whenever we come together, like it's important to like really, really, really realize like how this each other's energy is, like how special it is. And like being in being like we're all co-creators here on earth, and just like I would just want to give my family one more chance to love each other, to let them know that their problems were way smaller than they could have ever imagined. Just to understand that we can have disagreements, but it doesn't mean we got to stop talking forever. And slow down, like what Gary just told me lately. Like, don't be afraid to slow down. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't blink. And we're all going super fast and trying to get to the next point, trying to achieve this, trying to achieve that. Someone's mad over here. Someone's mad over here. There's so much drama going on. And like, I just want to be able to tell my whole family is the collective, dead and alive. Like, yo, like, what if it turns out better than we imagined? And what if our problems are smaller than what we could imagine too? And just don't blink. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
Okay, I think we'll wrap things up there. But Riley, thank you again for agreeing to come on today and for opening an honest conversation. For anyone listening, if you want to follow Riley's journey more closely, then all the links to his socials will be in the description. Riley, thank you again for coming on.
Ben, thank you, brother. I love what you're doing here, brother, and I can't wait to be on again.
Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to follow us, to leave a review, and to connect with us on our socials.